Today we're talking about painting birds, and I just love putting birds in my landscapes. I feel like it just breathes life into it, especially if you don't want like a full-blown wildlife animal like a bear. It's just the perfect touch to a beautiful scene, and this is a really simple way to do birds that are in the distance.
This is a bonus video to demonstrate how to paint birds, first in the distance, and then in the second half with slightly more detail a little bit closer to the viewer. Best way to get a nice clean line on your birds is to use one of these acrylic paint markers. These you can buy almost anywhere. They come in several different shades. They have different sizes of tips. And this one in particular has a nice fine tip, so it's perfect for our subject. Birds have the ability to bring almost any landscape to life, and I love to use them in my work. Always feel free to go in first with a pencil to sketch out the shape if you feel uncomfortable diving right in with paint. Because this is one of the few times with acrylic markers that you don't want to make a mistake. The dark birds against that beautiful light background will be hard to cover up without completely redoing the entire sky. And we don't want to do that, so we're going to do this right first time around. I have my little sketch and I just put it out of sight of the camera, but I am going to glance at that every few seconds. Getting the right size and the form of the birds is what's important here. Both will dictate the distance and then therefore the believability of our scene here. Another part of the bird's believability is to change up the wing patterns of the birds in flight, and they should all vary like they do here. If the landscape includes water like it does here with our pond, don't forget to include the bird's reflection, especially in still water. The bird's reflection will be slightly lighter in the water, so you use a dark medium gray. And next we are going to demonstrate birds that will be a little bit closer, which means they're going to have slightly more detail in the head, maybe a little bit more feathery detail in the wings. And of course, if they're closer, they're going to be larger. Feel free to use the acrylic painting marker for this or a very fine tip brush, probably the finest, thinnest brush that you own. And go ahead and mix. I have black and a raw umber, and I mix them to make the darkest brown that I could mix. The brush tip is so fine that you're going to need a lot of dips for your brush. So you're going to be using a lot of dips into the paint, and that means that you're going to use quite a bit of water, more than usual, because of the size of that brush. And again, don't be afraid to go in with a pencil first if this makes you uncomfortable, because we do want to get it right on the first try. Once you go too big with your birds, you can't go smaller. So if you want to start out too small, that would be a better bet. And then I'm just sketching it in here, feathering out a little bit of the wings. I have a sharp point for the beak. I've changed up the wing patterns there and then just filled it in with the paint. And there's our flying birds.